suppose that if you'd have told me just over a year ago I would be in the position I am in now, I probably would have said that you were crazy. But here I am. My name's Sophie, in case you hadn't guessed, and today I'm going to tell you my story. I live in Clevedon, a really nice town and one that has always had a sense of great community spirit. A place where you don't have to worry that someone's going to steal your mobile or nick your purse. And I love living here. When we were kids, we always used to go up on the pier, and my mum used to say it was like being on holiday every day. Back then, we were like a proper family. Me, my brother Jake, and my mum and dad. My parents were so loving, and to me, they were perfect. We were always out and about, and if we weren't on the pier, we'd be on the beach, climbing the rocks that had been recklessly sculpted and designed by the sea. While most people had barbecues, we didn't. We enjoyed pizza. I still go there now, to reminisce and remember the old times, the happy times. I often look for the jet skis and the boats that sail the bay. The person I think about the most? My mum. After Dad died suddenly, Mum grieved for a long time, and I could literally see and feel her pain. My nan sold up and moved in with us to help Mum. When she got better, we started to venture out again, going for walks and chatting for hours at the bandstand. I loved my mum, and she wasn't only my mum, but truly my best friend. We loved going for drinks in the pub garden, and it was almost like sacrilege if we didn't. Even in the winter we'd do it, and we'd still sit outside with our hands almost frozen to the glasses, and people used to think we were crazy. And in the summer, we'd sit by the lake, sometimes just to dip our toes, others to go swimming. She would always make sure we were in a good spot to view the Waverley coming into port. And then, the worst thing happened. She fell ill and died. And even though I had Nan and Jake, I felt completely alone. After her funeral, I used to spend a lot of time in her room. The bedclothes still smelt of her. Sometimes I'd spend hours in there. Sometimes I'd fall asleep and hope to dream of her. and I remembered the time she hung her favourite picture. She She used to say she was her idol. The beautiful Marilyn Monroe. She was so happy the day she got that. Me, Nan, and Jake decided that we would leave the room exactly how Mum left it. We were all happy living together, but now Mum was out the way, Jake began to change things. It started with him sending us out of the front room so he could watch TV on his own.
Jake, I'm watching TV.
I'm watching it. Get out.
Jake, move.
Get out.
Ow! Ow! Jake!
It wouldn't have been so bad if he was nice about it. But thinking back, he's always been quite hot-headed and selfish. When Jake was a kid, sometimes he could be really nice, but most of the time, he could be extremely cruel and impatient. I loved him though. He was my brother. Unfortunately, that love was very much unrequited. He was always looking out for number one, and he always wanted Mum's attention. He used to try and bully me, but I used to either ignore it or stand up for myself. One person that always gave in to him was Dad, and I guess you could say he was Daddy's boy. Sometimes Mum would have a go at him for doing so. So this is where I work. I love it here.
Hiya!
This is Corinne. This is Rach. This is Dinah, my boss. And this is Sam, my best friend. I tell her everything. One day I left the salon. I was running a little late, but I thought I had more than enough time to get to the bus. But as I turned the corner, I could see the bus. I made a run for it, but it pulled away. I remember thinking, I'm going to be in so much trouble. Thinking about what to do, so I decided to enjoy something that me and Mum used to love doing. Have an ice cream and sit on the bench. I could have gone straight home, but it didn't matter how late I was going to be. I knew I'd still get grief from Jake. I was sat really enjoying my ice cream and thinking about Mum when this guy came along. He stopped just in front of me, and then I saw him take a cheeky look at me. I thought he was gorgeous. As he began to walk off, I really hoped he might have said something, and I was gutted when he didn't. He continued to walk. I knew he might have been interested though, because he kept looking back. So I got home and Jake shouted at me, which I knew he would, but I couldn't have cared any less because all I could think about was this guy that I'd seen, and I went back the next day hoping I would see him again. I went and sat in the same spot I was in before. I looked around for him and waited as long as I could, but he didn't show. I was so mad with myself for missing my only chance the previous day. I looked for any sign of him, and I was getting really frustrated. I decided to take a slow walk home, hoping that I might see him somewhere along the way. So I stood up and turned around, and there he was. I kind of went all shy. I didn't know what to do with myself. But I knew this was my chance, so I took a deep breath and made my way up to him. And the first thing I blurt out, "Hi, do you fancy a stroll?" Fancy a stroll? What am I, 80? We went for a walk along the lakeside, and it was like we'd known each other for years. You know when you just click with someone? He made me laugh a lot as well, and that was something I really needed at the time. He told me he was 21 and his name was Sebastian, and he also told me that he lived alone with his dad. I'm sure he said a bunch of other stuff, but I found it difficult to take it in, as thoughts of going home and Jake began to cross my mind. After our first proper meet, we met as often as we could, and I always looked forward to it. When I wasn't with him, I was thinking about him, from first thing in the morning to the last thing at night. We began to walk one afternoon, and he told me that he'd picked up a leaflet for local Kung Fu classes at the Clevedon Hall. When I asked why, I noticed he looked awkward, and then he replied that he just wanted to get fit and look his best. As we were walking, he started telling me about his mum, and when she was alive like me, she used to spend lots of time on the beach in Lady Bay. They used to eat ice creams just like me and Mum did. He said even though she's been gone for a long time, he still misses her every day. That day was a special day to me. He took me to his mother's grave. I know to some that might have seemed a little odd, but to me it showed his commitment to me and our relationship, and it took a lot for him to do that. I loved these times. I felt like I didn't have a care in the world. No shouting, no violence, and most importantly, no Jake. Just the warmth of the sun on my face. I wish these moments would have lasted forever. I decided to visit Mum's room one day, and I noticed her favourite picture was missing. Jake? Where's Mum's picture gone?
What?
Mum's picture?
I don't know.
Well, it was here this morning.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. It was on the wall this morning.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't here.
Jake, yes, it was. It was on the wall this morning.
No.
Well, where has it gone then?
You tell me.
Jake, I don't know where it is. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know where it is.
It was on the
It
wall
wasn't
this morning.
here! But do you know what I think? I think you've done something with it.
What would I have done with Mum's picture?
Yeah, I think you took it.
I didn't take Mum's picture.
I definitely didn't take it. Nan didn't take it. So that leaves you. You took it, didn't you?
What would I have done with it?
You tell me. What would you have done with it? I bet you sold it.
I would have sold Mum.
Yeah,
I would have
you're
sold
sick.
Mum's picture.
You're sick. You'd sell your own mum's favourite picture. You're sick. Do you know that? You make me sick. Look at you. Slut. You make me ill. You took it, didn't you? Admit it. Admit it. Admit it, you took it. Where is it?
Yes, Jake, I took.
Where is it? You sold it, didn't you? You sold it. You make me sick. Do you know that? Sick. How can you sell your mother's own picture? What are you trying to do? You trying to hurt me? You trying to hurt your nan? Is that what you're trying to do? No. You're sick. You're no sister of mine. You're a filthy, filthy little slut. Do you know that? You make me physically sick. You're vile. Ah!
And do you know what? By the end of that, I was convinced I'd sold my mum's picture. And I know what you're thinking. How can you believe you did something if you didn't? But abusers like Jake can twist and manipulate a situation so well that you don't even trust your own memory. And because of this, I broke down. How could I have sold my own mother's picture?
And so is my products now as well. So let's tell you exactly what you're getting. So first of all, the collection comes in a gift box.
Yep.
So it comes in the expert. So if you are thinking for a Christmas present, you can stockpile this. Remember, the no varnish will last up to 4 years unopened.
If Jake wasn't at the pub, he'd be at home smoking weed. He'd smoke it all day, every day. And when he ran out of money to buy it, Nan would be the one to suffer. Forced to hand over the little money she had, sometimes just to get a beating anyway.
It's qvcuk.com. Very easy to do, and you can check out the reviews as well.
Give me some money. I want some money. Now.
Okay, how much?
What you got? It's not enough anymore.
No!
Yes.
No!
When I came home, I looked up ready to give Nan my usual wave, and the heads up that I was home. But she wasn't there. She was always at the window. This worried me. What had happened? What had Jake done? As I got home, it was quiet. It was too quiet. There was something wrong. After Jake had finished pinning me to the floor and successfully convincing me that I deserved it, I went to find out why Nan wasn't at the window when I'd come home. So I went upstairs, I opened the door and, well, I couldn't believe what I saw.
Nan.
Into your eyes with all I love and despise. I'm torn between you and what I should do, my special one. Into your life with all I've seen and done. I've fought more battles than you'd know, my special one. Into your heart with all that's to come. I only wanted control of my soul, my special one. I only wanted you to love me. I only wanted you to love me. I only wanted you to love
That for me was probably the lowest point when Jake had started resorting to physical violence. And of course it meant that I had to spend less and less time with Sebastian because I had to get home to protect Nan. Which was hard for me because, yeah, I missed him. I missed him a lot.
Get up. Get up.
As I worked all day at the salon
All right?
and had to do chores when I got home, I was tired all the time. I'd often go to bed even when the sun was still up.
Bed.
When Jake came in from the pub with some tar he'd picked up, he would wake me up and get him to make him food. At first I tried to resist him, but if I didn't do what he asked, he would hurt me. So I learned the sooner I made the food, the sooner I could go back to bed. Then one night, I'd made food and headed to his room. But he wasn't there. I heard laughing coming from Mum's room. It was Jake. He knew no one was allowed in there. I was so mad that he disrespected Mum's memory. And to top it off, it was Sam. I couldn't believe it. She didn't even have the guts to look at me. And Jake was loving it. Not only was he in Mum's bedroom, he had my best friend in bed with him. The next morning, I was cleaning one of the rooms, and guess who turned up?
Are you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Apart from the fact that you slept with my brother last night.
Well, he seems nice and...
Yeah, he's nice. He's so nice, in fact, that he beats me and his defenceless nan as well.
Why are you being like this?
You are the only person that knows what he does to me, and you're supposed to be my friend.
Well, if you want to be funny, then fine.
I suppose the most frustrating thing was the fact that she really was genuinely starting to believe that he was the nicest person she'd ever met. And he was getting quite good at fooling everybody, actually. He was one person in front of me and Nan and a completely different person in front of everybody else. And I suppose that's how people like him get through life, fooling people. I suppose you could describe him as a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde type character. Speaking of which, later that day, later on I heard laughing out the front, so I went to have a look. What could they possibly be laughing at? As I got closer, I realised Jake was there. What was he doing there? I watched and saw how he charmed the girls. He was good at that. They just stood there, like a bunch of giggling schoolgirls. I knew Sam knew about him beating me, but the rest didn't have a clue. Next, he was asking Sam out. She said yes. Jake knew exactly what he was doing. He didn't even like Sam. He was doing it to get at me. I looked at Sam in complete and utter disbelief. She was just giggling like a lovesick puppy. I wanted to puke, so I left and went into the back room. I think the only person to notice something was wrong was Dinah. Jake, I'm going to be home late from work tomorrow.
Why?
They've given me extra hours at the salon. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that it? Bye then.
And deceiving Jake just got easier and easier. So by this point, me and Seb had been meeting up quite a few times. I was telling Jake that I was doing more hours at the salon, which obviously he was happy about because it meant more drugs money for him. But one time, I almost got caught out because on my way home, I saw Jake.
A game? You can't hide from me. You better get home and get me my tea, and it better be ready by the time I get back. Go on!
When I got home, I rushed to get Jake's tea ready. I heard him come through the door. He didn't even bother to look in the kitchen. Instead, I got this.
My tea. Where is it? You know what time it is? It's 5 o'clock. Always have my tea at 5. Where is it? Where is it? Where's the tea? Where is it? Is it ready? Hey? Where is it? Huh?
Nan was talking to a friend outside the house, and he noticed one of the bruises on her arm. Nan just told him that she wasn't as steady on her feet as she used to be. We became experts at covering the truth. Nan's friend wasn't fooled. He knew who it was. But like most people, he did nothing. Jake, like most abusers, realised it was time to change his tactics. He then only hit us in places that others wouldn't see. One evening, Jake was due to meet Sam, so I watched him cross the road and kiss her on the hand, pretending to be a Prince Charming. But it was nice because that meant that me and Nan had some quality time on our own, and we always have a bit of a laugh, a bit of a giggle.
Pint of wife beer for me and a glass of white wine for the lovely lady.
Lovely lady, you've got a nice one there. Would you like a medium or a dry?
Dry, please.
Yes, that's work downstairs.
There you are, thank you very much.
Pay the lady.
£6.40, thank you very much.
Bedminster.
I'm just popping to say Lou, alright?
Journey for Hoofu. But then spread it out, yeah.
Did she?
Yeah, she did.
And? I'm still waiting for the heart.
Yeah,
I'm still waiting for the punchline.
That was it.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks.
Quality, and that's like his granddad, isn't
I get to speak to you in Saturday. Tom, who's in it.
Are you okay?
Yeah, fine. Why shouldn't I be?
I'm just asking.
So you're seeing him later, are you? After you've finished with me?
What? It's a figure of speech.
Supposed to believe that, am I?
He comes in the salon. I haven't been out with him or anything.
But it won't be long the way you sleep around. Look at you dressed like a filthy tart. Now for his benefit.
You told me to wear this. And besides, you sleep around more than me.
I'm a bloke. It's different.
Different how?
Shut up and drink up, we're going.
We've only just... What's wrong with you? Why are you being like this? Why are you being...
Why'd you have to ruin the whole night? Ugh!
Hurry up, Mark.
you to be with me. You know that, don't you? Eh? Get out. Don't you ever talk to me like that in public again. It's your fault. All of this is your fault. You disgust me. You know that. You disgust me. You filthy little whore. You're gonna pay for it now. If I ever catch you with another bloke, I'll kill you. Teacher.
Jake had stooped to a new low. I knew he was an abuser, but a rapist. I didn't think he was capable of that.
Get that filthy slut out of here now!
As I led Sam out of the house, I begged her not to tell the police.
Okay, and action.
I mean, I feel absolutely terrible. I guess I just thought that if she told the police that me and Nan would be in trouble, and that's the hold he had over us. And I know I was met with her, but no one deserves that, you know, no matter what they've done, nobody deserves that. Sebastian rang the salon that day. He sounded so serious, and I began to worry. And the closer I got to the meeting place, the worse it got. Had he done something? Had I done something? I was so worried. I was almost crying before I even got there. When he turned up, he gave me a kiss. But I knew there was something wrong. He looked so serious. He looked stressed. I thought he was going to tell me he was gay or something, or had a girlfriend. It all started when Seb was 10. He was in the car with his mum, and they were involved in a head-on collision. His mum died at the scene. All Seb did was to talk to his mum while she was driving. At the funeral, his dad reacted coldly towards Seb. And when Seb reached for his hand, it was only to be rejected. All he wanted was his father's comfort. From then on, all his dad did was verbally abuse him, either telling him that he killed his mum, or just general abuse.
Here's Harry bleeding Potter. Hey, where you going?
His dad even encouraged his drinking buddies to join in. All Seb wanted was for his dad to stop. But most of all, he wanted his dad to forgive him, even though there was nothing to forgive. I was sad for Seb that this was happening to him, but at the same time I felt relieved that it would be easier to tell him about my abuse. So I began to tell him, and I showed him my bruises. But he didn't react in the way I thought he would. Instead, he became distant. As we walked back, I kept trying to make him laugh, but a brief smile was all I would get. And I kept asking if he was okay, and he'd say he was, but I knew he wasn't being honest. I started to wish that I had never told him. I felt as though I'd completely messed up. When it came to saying goodbye, he didn't even kiss me. He just simply turned and walked away. I felt as though my whole world was about to fall apart. And I began to have thoughts that Seb no longer wanted me. And as Jake would say, no one would want damaged goods.
I was lost inside. Turn my eyes from the light.
As I walked home, I noticed a hat. As I got closer, I realised it was Seb's hat. When Seb got home that night, he was started on. Seb tried to ignore his dad, but this time, he had finally crossed the line. This was the last straw.
Don't get up, Dad!
And he didn't. He stayed there. Seb had finally plucked up the courage to stand up to his abuser. When Seb woke the next day, he looked around for his dad, but there was no sign of him. Then he found the note. His dad was gone. And Seb was no longer a victim. After contemplating for a while, Seb decided it was time for a change. It was time for a new Sebastian. The next day at work, I tried not to think about Sebastian and the way he had reacted to what I said the day before. I just tried to stay busy. At one point I noticed the girls went silent. They were staring at someone who had just walked through the door. Then I turned around, and it was Seb. He looked so different. I didn't know what to say, so I said,
Oh my god! Your hair is so short.
I've got something I need to tell you. So private. Can we go out back?
Okay, Dinah, is it okay if we take 5 minutes?
5 minutes.
So, last night, after I left you, I went home and, like always, my dad just started on me again.
Don't you walk away from me.
Let me help you.
No, please, it's not worth the risk, and if he hurts you, I would never forgive myself. And besides, you know he's only going to hurt me and Nan anyway.
Let me do this. I can help you.
No, maybe we can try leaving or something when he's out, but just don't do this now.
Why should you be the ones that have to leave? Let's make him leave.
No, please, just drop it, okay? Just drop it, please, for me.
Sophie!
Okay, I have to go.
At least tell me where you live.
Not now. Maybe we can meet later or something, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
I know he was disappointed. There was no way I was going to risk him getting hurt as well. When 5 o'clock came, I left work. Little did I know, someone was watching me.
Hi, would you be able to give me Sophie's address?
You know I can't do that.
I don't care about rules. Could you give it to me?
I'm sorry, no.
You're just going to stand by whilst you know that that monster beats her?
Look, it's none of my business.
What if it was?
Even though Dinah felt bad that she couldn't give Seb my address, it wasn't her fault. She had to abide by the law. But someone else didn't. And she had a good reason not to.
What are you doing?
You know what I'm doing.
We cannot get involved.
So would you get involved if you raped someone?
That's different. This is a family argument.
Arguments? This is far bigger than that. I must do this.
No.
He raped me.
What?
He raped me.
Go.
So, Sam had convinced Dinah to give him my address. And now, he was headed straight for my house. When I got home, Nan said Jake had gone out for more drugs. As I went into the front room to shut the window, I saw Sebastian coming towards the house. So I ran as fast as I could to get to him. I had to make him leave before Jake came back. My heart was pounding so fast. When I reached the front door, Jake suddenly appeared. He was shouting things at me, but I didn't hear a word. I was trying to see where Sebastian was.
Hey, what you doing?
Then,
Yes!
all I saw was Jake on the floor, And when he got up, it was plain to see the fear in his eyes. He didn't do anything. He just walked, and he didn't look back. Even when I felt Sebastian's arms around me and Jake was gone, I was still afraid. But somehow, I knew the nightmare was finally over. Well, that was my story, and I hope if you're watching and you are a victim, this encourages you to become a survivor. If you're wondering what happened next, well, after hiding out at a mate's house, Jake was arrested and charged for both the abuse and the rape. And can you believe it? That Jake had Seb arrested after Seb punched him outside the house. But fortunately, after gathering all the evidence, CPS dropped the charges as they knew it was Seb defending me. He's got a minimum of 2.5 years, which isn't what we were hoping for, but at least it's better than nothing, and it means he's out of our lives for quite some time. And we also got Mum's favourite picture back from the pawn shop. Nan, she's moved down to Bournemouth to be with her sister. She's very happy and we talk all the time on the phone. Sam, she's having counselling and doing really well, and we're better friends than ever now. And me, and Seb, well, we're still together, and we've had ourselves a beautiful little girl. We've decided to name her after something we both have for our future: hope.
I was once standing on a hill the day I first saw your light. I was once dreaming of the thrill of flying. I walked to the edge of the cliff. I looked over the horizon. I felt the wind begin to lift me higher. Know how the mountains fell away, how everything seemed so small. The troubles of my life gone by, surviving. Each hour brought a brand new scene. The ocean stretched like a dream. The darkness I had surrounding me slipped away. This beautiful afternoon glow in my mind will never fade. The the deepest blue you've ever seen. All around, know how nothing will ever be the same.